Welcome, my love light lifers. Natty T here, your vibrational coach, and today we're talking about the vibrations of the number 9, in specific 9999. Let's get into it. Welcome, my love light lifers, returning subscribers, and my newbies. If you're here with us for the first time and you're enjoying yourself over here, make sure that you hit the subscribe button or the follow if you're over on the IG account. And today we're talking about 9999. If you are seeing this number repetitively, if nines keep showing up everywhere for you, there could be something to it. And we're going to find out today not only what it might mean if you are seeing the number 9, but also why it might mean that. Because it's one thing to say that it represents a certain thing, but why would it be that it represents that of all of things? So we've been talking about manifestation from 0 to 10, or also 1 to 10, 0 to 9, depending on how you're looking at it. And so number 9 is the last of our single digits, which is significant in our head, even though we could define this as a double digit, a single digit, a triple digit. We could define it any way we want to, but we define it as a single digit, and it is the last single digit before we get to double digits, which is significant in our mind, and our consciousness tends to mark that as significant. In other words, it starts to become less of a number, a quantity, and more of a symbol. Okay? And the symbol that we're seeing here is the last number that is a single digit number, which I think lends itself to what you would think about. So it's the last of the single digit numbers, so perhaps endings. So let's take a look. We go over to Joanne's Sacred Scribe again today and see what we've got in way of what these 9s might mean and what they might mean if you quadruple them and amplify their vibration. So what we're looking at, it's a number that is resonating with universal spiritual laws, higher perspective, influence, benevolence, and altruism, non-conformity, leading life, positive example for others, influence, higher perspective, expansive viewpoint, duty and calling, strength of character, philanthropy, humanitarianism, light working, and also endings and conclusions. Okay? So it's pretty obvious why the conclusions and the endings, because we've got that single digit thing going on that we've been talking about. But also we've got some other stuff here that we're talking about: non-conformity, leading life as a positive example, influence, higher perspective, duty and calling, strength of character, humanitarianism. These kind of things are, if you take a look at them, because these are kind of subcategories of endings and conclusions. What I'm talking about is these types of things may or may not resonate with you when you are resonating with the number 9. Endings and conclusions, yeah, that's pretty general though. What's ending? What's concluding though? And so when we are having a look at some of the things that it might resonate with, what kind of endings and conclusions is coming to light? Because what we're actually seeing here is destinations. We're seeing some very common things that we would aim for as a human being. And as I said, our sort of 1 to 5 is our very physical, pick it up and put it over there, manifestations, where we're actually using a lot of effort and a lot of action to get results. And once we hit sort of the 6 to 9 area, and we get into the 0 is its own case, Don't worry about 0. But once we get to the sort of 7, 6, 7, 8, 9 area, we're talking about more of a manifestational journey. So we're starting to see an inward journey. We're starting to do stuff inwards, rather than outwards, which was the first thing that we tried and got some results, but usually not much. The leverage comes from when you sort of line up what's going on inside as well as what's going on outside. So these sort of things are actually things that you might aim for. And some of them are physical things that you might be aiming for, like influence, but non-conformity, strength of character, but a lot of them are very much spiritual or character-based. They're things that you would aim to be, not aim to do. And so, but we can see that the reason why these things have been listed, and these are not all of them, so if you go over to Joanne's Sacred Scribe, you can actually have a look at the whole list. What we're talking about here really is these are denotations of goals, of destinations, of where you would like to be, who you would like to be. And that's why we're resonating with those particular things when we're resonating with the number 9. But when we have a look at number 9, we may be wanting to resonate. Maybe we're becoming influential. Maybe that's the one thing that we are resonating with. But at the end of it all, it's those endings. It's those conclusions. It's a destination. And number 9 is not quite the destination though, because after 9, we go to 10, which is a 1 and a 0. But as far as single digits go, if we're going to do the loop, we go back to the number 0. And so 0, remember I said it's a different case. It's not the same as the other sort of numbers. And the reason for that is because 0 kind of denotes that place in the circle where the snake's head and the tail combine, and you have this ending beginning thing happening. In other words, it's not quite a beginning, but it's not quite an ending. It's an ending, but it's a beginning also. That undeniable fact that you can't have an ending without a beginning and a beginning without an ending, and it kind of smooshes into each other. And it's not until after a while you sort of just look around and you go, oh, something new has started. I'm not really sure when it started. Like, you think, okay, today's the first day of my new job, but it doesn't really feel significant until you're in there and you're like, wow, this has totally changed my whole life and the way that I'm living it. So basically what we're talking about with number 9s is if you're seeing lots of 9s, you're coming to an ending. You're not quite there yet because you'll start to resonate with numbers before you see the outwards result. In other words, before the manifestation will come, you'll start resonating with the numbers of it. And the reason for this is because there is less resistance. You have less resistance, so you've talked less smack to yourself about numbers than you have about the actual manifestation. So what I'm talking about here very quickly before we round up is nobody sits there and goes, I can't have the number 9 in my life. Number 9s are hard to manifest. I just don't know anybody who's got lots of 9s. 9s just don't come easily. That never happens. However, you might be thinking that way about money. Money's hard to get. Money's hard. I don't know anyone with lots of money. You got to work for money. Money's the root of all evil. Nobody's saying that about the number 9. Occasionally we say that about the number 666, but let's face it, there's less resistance about numbers. So when you're resonating there, you'll start to see numbers before you start to see money. Okay, so if you're seeing 8s, money might be coming, but you'll see the money later because you've got a little bit more resistance to the money than you do to the number 8, which is not something that you've told yourself that you can't have. We will be looking at 1010. What does that mean? So stay tuned for that. If you've enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe.